In this video, I'll be going through 5 sets of players from the top 5 teams in the league, where I'll be arguing the case for selecting one player over another. First up is Zinchenko over Ben White. Arsenal have been defensively very solid this year, and I definitely think it's sensible to have at least one of their defence in your squad. Many people are selecting Ben White at 4.7 million as the cheapest way into that defence. Zinchenko has been back in team training and should probably be back fit to fill in at left back for the game against West Ham. Back when the season began, Zinchenko got off to a flying start and played much higher up the pitch than White. There was a video made by Tifo IRL a few months back about how Arsenal are lining up during matches when Zinchenko plays. He plays more of a midfield role, while Ben White drops back into a 3-man defence, especially when Arsenal are attacking. At just 0.3 million more, Zinchenko also lingers on the edge of the box during corners and free kicks, and has the odd chance of an assist, whereas White usually stays back as the last man. I think people are hoping that White continues to play a fairly advanced right back role, but that only really happened when Tomiyasu filled in at left back. The next team is Man City, and the next player is Cancelo over Walker. Man City have some of the best defensive numbers in the league this season, and there are definitely ways of having a piece of that defence at a cheap price. This becomes even more appealing with the announcement of 2 possible double game weeks. The biggest issue with going for a player like Walker over Cancelo is the risks of starts over the Christmas and New Year's period. Cancelo normally nails down either an advanced left or right back role, which leaves 6 players competing for the other 3 defensive spots: Walker, Stones, Akanji, Diaz, Ake and Laporte. I would argue the case for selecting Ederson over any other defender, but the issue with that is that you're potentially sacrificing the place of a third precious City spot for a player who's likely to score a maximum of 6 points a game. I don't think any City defender will cover Cancelo's points for the remainder of the season, but there is definitely an opportunity to take a punt on one if you wanted to double up on clean sheets. The next set of players is Dan Burn over Botman for Newcastle. Newcastle's defence has been incredible so far this season, and there's definitely an opportunity to have a piece of that at a super cheap price. Trippier is the obvious first choice, but as a Newcastle fan, I'd argue the case that Burn is the second best option. Although Botman at 4.4 mil has looked fairly nailed in the starting lineup since he's joined, Burn at just 0.1 million more has started every game for Newcastle this season, apart from one. Eddie Howe seems to be playing Burn at left back, which means that he has the chance of keeping his place there, or potentially moving back over into the centre, with Target filling in on the left. Botman on the other hand only has one position available at left centre back. Whilst they both have equal chances of grabbing goals from set pieces, at times Howe will replace his fullbacks after around 80 minutes, meaning that Burn has a better chance of his clean sheet being locked in. We've already seen on a couple of occasions this season how Newcastle have conceded late consolation goals to their opposition. Botman may be at risk of losing his clean sheet. The next team is Spurs, and the players are Sessegnon over Emerson Royal. I haven't seen many drafts of fantasy managers going for Tottenham fullbacks, but with Perisic playing an average of 95 minutes per game at the World Cup, I think it's fair to say for the first few games at least, Sessegnon is likely to obtain the left wing-back position, so long as he stays fit. When it comes to the right wing-back position, there is the obvious dilemma over whether Conte will start Royal or Doherty, and he's even mentioned the possibility of Kulusevski playing there too. Spurs have a fairly good set of fixtures following the restart, including a double game week in Game Week 20, and I think Sessegnon is probably the most exciting way into that defence. Finally is Marcus Rashford over Martial for United. These are both debatably good picks for Man United's good run of fixtures once the season resumes. However, there are a few reasons why I think Rashford might be the better pick. Firstly, he's a 6.7 million midfielder who Ten Hag said himself is likely to play off of the last defender. This makes him arguably a forward playing out of position in FPL, getting an extra point for each goal and an extra clean sheet point. At the same price you could opt for Martial. However, he is very injury prone, and how many minutes can we expect him to get over the Christmas congested fixture run? I've heard from Man United supporters that it's likely Bruno Fernandes is on penalties, which removes a huge potential for Martial's route to points. So do you agree or disagree with me on these picks? Let me know down below in the comments section, and if you haven't already, make sure to check out my latest video. It's the team selection for Game Week 17, and thanks so much for watching.